Hello, humans. I'd like to be honest with you today. I was once a stand-up comedian, and then something horrible happened. I stopped being funny. So it only makes sense that I talk about my in-laws, who have had a profound effect on my life. You know, they say when you marry the boy, you marry the family. And it couldn't be more true for me. There was something really wrong with this family. So what I'm going to say next is going to be morbidly amusing. I found out my mother-in-law had Huntington's disease. If you don't know what Huntington's disease is, it's a neurodegenerative brain disease. It's like a combination of Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and Lou Gehrig's all in one. It was the perfect trifecta. But don't worry, it gets better. It's genetic. So that meant my husband had a 50-50 chance of inheriting the disease. And that also meant that my little girl had a 50-50 chance of inheriting the disease if my husband had it. It was like this, a flip of a coin. Heads. Good news for me is I was a doctor. I took pre-med my first year in college. I took Chem 101 and Bio 101. Okay, it's doctor-ish. So what do we do? I was ready to take this on. There's no treatment, no cure, no nothing. It was bad. Needless to say, I needed a better future, and fast, 'cause it sucked. So I hunkered down, and I started to learn everything I possibly could. I learned about artificial intelligence, I learned about human behavior, and I even taught myself how to sing. Would anybody like to hear me sing? All right, well, I did spend the time, so I'd like a little bit more. Yes? Okay, great. Okay, good. Hey, big spender, spend a little time with me. But it wasn't until I learned about a 30-year-old technology called 3D printing that I found my true calling. 3D printing is amazing. You're able to download and manufacture anything you want at any time. Dan Pink gives a TED Talk on the hidden motivations of humans. And what he says is that people are not motivated by money once basic necessities are met. They're actually motivated by autonomy, mastery, and purpose. And 3D printing did that for me. And I know it can do that for you too. Autonomy, because we can create whatever we want at any time. Mastery, because we can get better at it. And purpose, because we can bring back local manufacturing to our communities. I'd like to show you the first thing I ever 3D printed. This is a brain. Not only is this a brain, but this is a brain from a CT scan of a real person. This is so cool. I printed a brain, and it doesn't do anything, but it's a brain. Time to celebrate, right? So, I'm gonna drink. Got one problem though. I don't have a bottle opener. I got an idea. I've got a brain, I got a 3D printer. I'm gonna 3D print a brain that's a bottle opener! Yay! My favorite part about 3D printing is the fact that you can download a file at any time. This is such a disruption when you can do this anywhere in the world. There was once something called Blockbuster. I don't remember this. But apparently you would go to the store and then you'd like rent a physical movie and bring it home and then you'd have to bring it back a few days later. Well, we could download movies today. Disruption. What about music? We can download music today. Disruption. So get ready, folks. 3D objects can now be downloaded, and we're doing that today. That is a huge disruption. This is disrupting the supply chain. This also means that revolutions can now be 3D printed. We can bring manufacturing back to our local communities. This is an amazing opportunity. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to imagine a 3D printed structure that you could walk into, complex geometries that you had never seen before except in nature, or genetically identical tissue to anybody that can be used for pharmaceutical testing so we don't have to use animals. How about biomeat? We can 3D print meat. PETA is offering a $1 million prize to anybody who can actually make this taste good. So I welcome you to that challenge. You can open your eyes now. You know, Lisa Haruni gives a great presentation on a TED Talk on a primer on 3D printing and how it works. So I recommend everybody watch that. But in short, here's how 3D printing works. It works by building layer upon layer. So you put a layer down, and then it builds it up and up and up and up and up until you get a physical object. There's several different technologies behind this. There's the glue gun approach, where you're putting it down like that. There's a laser sintering using powder, or there's even a liquid for a polymer. On the materials side, it's abundant. We can use metals, we can use plastics, and we can even use things that we can find in our own community, like sand and dirt. And if you happen to live on the moon, you can use moon dust. And if you think I'm kidding, NASA's already on it. They're sending a 3D printer into space. Why would we want to try to fix everything there when we can just 3D print the stuff? We don't have to send it up, we can 3D print it. And it doesn't just have to be in space. We can do that here in our own community. We're able to build for repair. Why do we always have to throw everything out? Why do we have this obsolescence of every single object? Why don't we repair them? We have the ability to do that today. And we can customize it to whatever we want. Social entrepreneurs are really taking this by storm. As a social entrepreneur, we've tried to make 3D printing available to everybody. My favorite customers that come into our place are the social entrepreneurs. We have one social entrepreneur named George Page, who's creating water filters for Haiti so that they can have clean drinking water. We have somebody else that's creating prosthetics, that's scanning the area of where the limb is lost and putting that and making it customizable right to their needs. But my favorite part about 3D printing is what I've gotten to do with it. I actually got to work with Dr. Jane Paulson from the University of Iowa on her research. She has shown that neurodegenerative brain diseases actually happen 15 years prior to any visible sign. People don't know that. The research is hard to get out. So I worked with her and I said, how about we print these brains? How about we show 15 years before, 10 years before, 5 years before? We could do earlier intervention if people understood that brain diseases don't start when memory starts to go. There's more to this. We can do something about this. It was an amazing feeling. It's an amazing feeling to hold an idea that you had in your head and be able to print it and use it. I want you too to have the opportunity to do this. Think of yourself as a child. We all had amazing ideas. We were making those things at home, and we were proud of them. I want a light to go on in your mind. And I want you to all 3D print something that you think can be a contribution to society. And after you 3D print that item, I want you to promise me that you will print it again, but this time as a bottle opener. Thank you. I've really enjoyed talking with you today.